everyone, welcome to our channel, Rebecca, Stu and the Crew. I'm Rebecca, and today we have some Dollar Tree DIY home decor to make. So let's go over our supplies. The first thing we're going to use are these small hexagon mirrors. I actually picked these up at Walmart. They're about $2.50 for the box. We'll need some rub-on transfers from the Dollar Tree and their craft sticks. We'll need the tower blocks and some of their glitter ribbon that is adhesive on the back. Flowers. We'll need some hot glue and scissors, and then we'll also need a pencil. So let's get crafty. So the first project we're going to make today is a small vase using these hexagon mirrors and some craft sticks. Take your craft stick and hold it on the top of the mirror to start cutting down and marking our pieces of wood that we need to create the border for the sides so we can make this double-sided. We're just going to simply take our pencil and draw a straight line at the top of each corner. They measure right around 2 inches, and that's large enough to go corner to corner, but to put two pieces next to each other, you'll have to cut them just a tad bit smaller. So we're going just a tiny bit smaller than 2 inches, and you can get 2 pieces cut from one of the large craft sticks from the Dollar Tree. And so you'll just need to mark and cut with scissors. This is really easy to cut through, but you don't want to use your best pair of scissors. You don't want to dull them. But, just a decent pair of scissors should cut right through the craft sticks. And again, we need to make enough to go all the way around the hexagon, but we do want to leave the top open because that's going to be where we put our flowers. So now we're just cutting the rest of the pieces down, and then we measure the length to make sure they're all the same. Now taking one of those tower blocks, we need to trim down the side a little bit so that it all fits flush together. And this is going to be our weight for the bottom of the vase to help it stand upright. So we're just taking that tower block and our craft stick, and we're holding them together and taking our scissors to simply trim off the edge and make it flush with the tower block. And then we'll repeat this process with the other 4 pieces that we need to go around our hexagon. And it's just a very small piece of wood that we're trimming off the side. If you don't want to use your scissors for this, you could also just sand the side flat. Now we're going to take our tower block and we're going to put that along the bottom portion of our hexagon. What we're doing is we're drawing a line because this is the paper that we need to remove off of the backing. These mirrors are actually adhesive. They're meant to be like a wall tile, and we want to remove that backing so that we can have a nice clean surface to glue our wood blocks to and our craft sticks and not have to worry about the paper peeling up at some time in the future. Now in the center, you can go ahead and leave the craft paper on. It's not going to cause a problem, but you do want to trim all the way around your hexagon to remove that paper. Now you'll glue your tower block and one of the craft sticks together to create the base. And this will be the bottom and the weight that I was telling you about. Now we'll just add a little bit of hot glue and then finish putting our craft sticks along the edges. And then I add a little bit more hot glue on the inside edge to make sure that these craft sticks are going to stay in place long term. Once I have the whole border done, I did go in between each space on the outside and add a little bit of hot glue there. Now we'll take 5 of the craft sticks. We're just going to lay them out and take our first portion of this vase and lay it down on the craft sticks and just trace around it with our pencil to create a shape that we're going to glue to make a little bit more sturdy backing. And again, this is just to help add weight to our vase so that it will stand upright. And it just makes it a little bit easier to give the second mirror something to attach to. I do number the craft sticks just to make sure I keep them in the right position when we go to glue these together. So that's why I wrote on the craft sticks with the pencil the numbers of showing, which position that they're in. And again, we're just going to trim these down with our scissors and then put them in place. Once we have all of them cut, we can go ahead and start attaching these to our first portion of our vase. So the very first piece we're just going to glue on. It has something to grab onto, which is that tumbling tower block that we put on the bottom. Then we'll go ahead and line up all of the pieces for the backing. And once we have it nice and straight and lined up where we want it to be, then we'll take 2 smaller craft sticks and we'll actually glue these on as a support across the back. So I'm just going to mark with my pencil to shorten the craft stick a little bit, and then cut those pieces down, add some hot glue, and then attach it to our 4 pieces that we still need to put on the back of our design. So I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 more pieces of craft stick and glue those across the back. And now we can add some hot glue to the edges and attach the base. And we'll glue those small craft stick portions, which were the supports, on the inside. And that will make it nice and smooth so we can attach our mirror to the opposite side. Now take that glitter paper, it's like the scrapbook paper tape that they sell at the Dollar Tree, and you're going to go ahead and attach that to the border of your design. And we're going to do this before we put the second mirror on to make sure we can get the paper on the sides and tucked down behind the second piece of glass so that it looks really cohesive and nice without any pieces sticking out. So I did the first layer, and then I was still able to see too much of the wood around some of it. So I decided to go ahead and add the gold tape going the opposite direction along the border. I just hold it in place and pull it really tight and fix it to the back. And we'll do this all the way around, and then we'll glue the mirror on top of it. And this is going to help hide any little pieces of that craft stick that was poking out so that we won't see it. And all you'll see is that gold shimmer from the scrapbooking paper tape. You'll just keep working in this manner all the way around so you have that completely covered. And then make sure your mirror will line up. Remove the backing. And if you want, you can add hot glue here. I'm just going to use the adhesive that's on the back of the mirror. Now there's a protective film over this mirror. Is that why it looks a little bit frosted right this second? And as you can see, we've got the top open. And now we'll clean up the mirror. And we're going to take another piece of that decorative tape, and we're going to tape at a diagonal all the way around, and then glue the end down right in the center so it blends in with the other gold paper. Then take some flowers of your choice. You're going to need some of that green floral tape if you have it to create a little bouquet, and then cut your stems down. I like to use the dog nail clippers to do that. It's really a handy tool when you're trimming down those wire pieces on the flowers. And then once you have the flowers all trimmed down, you can go ahead and glue those or just pop them down in the vase. I like to glue mine in place so that I know they're not going to fall over or tip out. And then we are going to do one more little piece of decorating here. I wish I would have done this before I added the decorative tape, but what we're going to do is just take a small corner of the rub-on transfer, and we're going to add this to the front and the back of our vase. And then that's what it looks like, just a little bit of decorative accent. And here's what it looks like completely finished. So now let's make a second one. We're going to use a few different supplies this time. So for this one, we're going to still use those wall mirrors from Walmart. We'll need some tower blocks, the rub-on transfers, and then this one we're going to use some foam board from Dollar Tree. We'll need that glitter ribbon again. That's that adhesive ribbon, some hot glue and scissors. We'll need an X-Acto knife or a craft knife and something to sand the edges with. We'll also need some paint and paint brushes and some tape. We'll need the flowers, of course, for the end. So let's get crafty. So for this one, we're going to do a stacked hexagon vase. So for this one, we'll take those decorative mirrors and lay them down on your foam board. And you're going to trace them. And once you get the first one done, just go ahead and move that mirror up, line up the edges, and then trace around the second piece to create a stacked double mirrored side. Then we'll do the exact same thing for the second one because of course we have to make 2 of these. Then we're going to take our X-Acto knife or our scissors and we're going to cut out these foam shapes. Now, I like to use the razor blade. I think it's easier. It makes a nicer straight edge, but we are going to end up sanding the edges of this once we're done. So it's really personal preference if you just want to cut it out with scissors or if you prefer to use the craft knife. I try not to go all the way through the first pass. I try to work in sections and then go a little bit deeper each time I cut with the knife, and that gives it a really nice smooth edge. Once I have both of the pieces cut out, then I take those adhesive wall mirrors and I just pull that backing off of the sticker edge and then use that to stick it to the foam board. It's really sticky, so you really don't need any extra glue. So I didn't use any. I just used that adhesive backing to put those on the foam board. Then I take an emery board and I just lightly sand the edges to make them nice and smooth and kind of at an angle all the way around our pieces. Now we're going to take some masking tape and tape off half of the mirror, and this will keep the other half safe while we add the rub-on transfer. And then you can just go ahead and cut your rub-on transfer in half. You'll need half for each side of the mirror, so it will take one full sheet. Then I ended up just tracing the hexagon on the rub-on transfer sheet, and then I cut that in half, and then I have the perfect size for each one of the mirrors. And this is really sticky, that adhesive backing, or that, you know, the rub-on transfer backing. If you get too close to the mirror, it's going to grab it. So you want to be careful that you have it lined up pretty well before you get close to the mirror, so you don't accidentally put it on the wrong spot. So it doesn't take much to get it to stick to the mirror, but it's a really pretty detail when you pull off that paper and see that detail on the gold mirror. Then go ahead and add your scrapbooking tape on the other edge just to help tie it in with the first one that we made. Then we get a piece of that foam board about the width of a tower block, and then we just make these little lines in it at every 2 inches so that we can bend it and start gluing it along the edge. And we're just going to do this all the way around the first side and add some glue as we go. And of course you want to leave that top open. So once you have the first side done, you'll cut the foam board all the way through and then go ahead and work on your second side, adding the foam board to the edges. And then you can add some glue to the outside edge once you have the whole thing glued down from the inside. So I just add a little bit of glue, I add the edge, and then once the whole thing's on, I go back around the outside edge and add some more glue. And here's what it looks like so far. So now we're going to take some of those tower blocks. They should fit in nicely at the bottom. This is just to add the weight to the bottom. And we're just going to glue those in. Make sure they're not higher than the edge that you glued around the outside border. You don't want them to be pushing those mirrors up higher than the sides. So there's our weight added to the bottom. And now we'll just add some glue to the whole outside edge and take our second piece that we made and glue that on the other side to close this off. And you'll want to hold it in place until the glue dries to make sure you have a really nice tight seal. And then you can add some more hot glue on the outside edge if you feel like it needs it. And once those are all glued down, you've waited for the glue to dry, you can go ahead and use your X-Acto knife to cut off any glue that maybe is a little bit too much. And then to help blend in all of the edges, I decided to go ahead and paint that foam with some gold metallic paint. And you want to go down inside the vase a little bit as well to make sure that none of that white foam is going to be showing. So I painted all the way around the edges. Then we'll take the scrapbooking tape and put that right in the center and add it all the way around. You might want to add a little bit of hot glue every once in a while to make sure you have a really nice tight seal. It does have that adhesive tape on the back, but I felt like with the foam board, it needed just a little bit more help sticking, especially with the paint. So I added some hot glue to help it all to stick really well. We're just going to keep wrapping this all the way around. And once you get to the top, go ahead and cut it just a little bit longer than you need it so that you can tuck the remaining portion down inside the vase from the side. And so here's the top. As you can see, I just shoved that down inside and then stick it along the inside edge. Then go ahead and add your flowers, and that's it. Super simple. That's our second one. Now for the third one, we're going to do this one just a tad bit different. We'll need, again, one of those mirrors, the glitter ribbon. We're going to use the rub-on transfer, and then we'll use a frosted Christmas bulb from Dollar Tree, some adhesive pearl wrap, and we'll need some gold beads and scissors and hot glue. So let's get crafty, making our third and final craft today. We're going to just trace around the mirror on our rub-on transfer sheet. And this still has that protective film over the top. And then go ahead and cut out your shape using your scissors. And this one, we're going to do a little bit different. Instead of just doing half of the mirror, we're going to cover the whole mirror with this gold rub-on transfer. I just think the look that it gives when it's done is so pretty. And then we have that whole top portion left behind that we'll be able to decorate the Christmas bulb. So I actually just lay this face down, and then I take the mirror and pop that down on top of it to help line it up. That way I don't accidentally bump it and put it where I didn't want it to be. And then I just rub it with a craft stick a little bit, peel it off, and we've got this beautiful decorative accent across the whole entire surface of the mirror. It's so pretty. Now taking your leftover rub-on transfer sheet, I just cut it into strips and I work in small sections to keep getting the rub-on transfer all the way around the round bulb. So it just helps if you cut strips of paper or even triangle shapes. It helps to fill in all of the spaces that you need without worrying too much about the curve of the bulb. Because working on round pieces can be a little bit more difficult, especially when you want the rub-on transfer to have that really pretty design. You want to line it up as best as you can. And that's why I cut the paper into these strips. I try to line it up as best I can and just keep working my way around the bulb. Just working in small sections. You don't have to put the whole thing down. So even though I have like a larger strip, if you notice, I'm only working in small sections. I don't put the whole thing right against the glass bulb. And that allows me just kind of the freedom to put all the designs together and try to match up the edges from one piece to the next and get the design to work out. And then again, I have some pieces that look like a triangle shape that helps get up around that top and line up the decoration as best I can. And we'll just keep working until we have the whole entire bulb covered with that pretty gold foil rub-on transfer. Once you have that completely finished, we'll take that glitter tape that we used for the others and we're going to put that right across the center of the mirror to help tie all three projects together. Now we'll take some of the adhesive pearl wrap. You can also use the gold adhesive pearl wrap that they sell. It looks like the little beads, and you can use that for the top if you like. I chose to go ahead and just use the pearl wrap that I had on hand, and we will just take that backing off and stick it around that top portion of the bulb. And again, I don't add any hot glue. I just use the adhesive backing. Now we'll add some hot glue right to the center and glue our bulb right in the middle of our mirror. Now we'll take a small piece of this beaded garland or the beaded necklaces they sell at Dollar Tree from time to time in the party section. And we're going to glue this around the base of the bulb to hide any of the glue that you might be able to see from gluing the bulb down to the mirror. And we're just adding a small amount of hot glue and then tucking the edge of the beads down around the bottom portion of the mirror and the bulb. Now we're going to take some itty bitty little pink flowers and we're going to stack them at the bottom on the edge. And we're just cutting these down off of the stem. And just add little bits of hot glue at a time and then stack a few flowers. I chose to do 3 small pink flowers. And then you'll take some pink flowers, a little bit of greenery, use that floral tape and tape those together to create a small bouquet, and then pop those down into the bulb. Then I added a few small pieces of white flour that looks kind of like baby's breath to help fill it in a little bit and give it the look that I was going for. And then it's finished. And this is our third and final project. So they all kind of tie in together. I love this gold rub-on transfer on the mirror. I think it makes it look so pretty and just kind of ties it all together. I hope you guys enjoy learning how to make these 3 projects with me today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget to check out our Dollar Tree video tomorrow. And of course, we post Dollar Tree videos on Tuesdays as well. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And here are some other videos from our channel you might also enjoy. I'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping by.